Avengers Age of Ultron is a movie about an evil robot named Ultron whose goal is to wipe out humanity. The movie climaxes in Ultron cutting out a part of the city of Sokovia, then lifting the island into the sky using rocket technology. Once it gets high enough, he plans to make it rocket back to Earth as a meteorite, wiping out humanity when it hits the ground. The physics in the movie is unrealistic, so I will be showing what happened in the movie versus what should have happened. This is the city of Sokovia. Ultron ultimately cuts out a part of the city 6,300 feet wide and 2,520 feet deep, which makes a hemisphere. This can be used to calculate the volume of the island. By knowing the average density of Earth's crust, we can calculate the mass of the island. By looking at the movie, we can figure out the island accelerates upwards at 0.1 meters per second squared. This allows us to calculate both the force of gravity and the force of the thrusters. This is where our problems begin. These thrusters are way too powerful to be realistic. There are 11 thrusters, meaning that each thruster produces this amount of force. For context, the Falcon Heavy by SpaceX produces this amount of force. This thruster produces more than 45,000 times as much force as one of mankind's best thrusters today. So this is what would actually happen when Ultron turns on the thrusters. Anyhow, I put the thrusters back to their original force for the sake of argument. Now that the island is moving upwards, another force is working against the thrusters: air resistance. Air resistance is an extremely complicated phenomenon governed by this equation. It takes into account the air density, velocity, and many other factors. These factors are hard to calculate and they change over time, so I will make educated guesses for these values for the most part. Regardless, this island is anything but aerodynamic because it has a huge uneven surface facing upwards. This is catastrophic for our heroes because the island's velocity will keep increasing due to the acceleration. From the frame of reference of the island, air will be pushing down at them at the same speed that the island is going upwards. The people of this island would experience downwards wind, which is not good for the flying robots at this island. All of this is without mentioning that once the island got high enough into the stratosphere, there would not be sufficient air to breathe, giving Ultron the win over the Avengers automatically. In conclusion, these thrusters are way too powerful for this movie to be realistic. However, if it did manage to get off the ground, air resistance would play an interesting role in the movie, mostly to the downfall of our heroes. The moral of the story is that if you want to destroy the world, there are much more efficient ways of doing so.